This is MRN Out Loud, brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of MRN Out Loud. I'm Woody Cain. Getting set to run the trucks on dirt again this weekend. Bristol Motor Speedway was the first this season, and in the Camping World Truck Series, Ben Rhodes finished second. He's our guest on the program today as we get set to head to Knoxville. Friday night, the Corn Belt 150 presented by Premier Chevy Dealers comes your way 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll have heat races as well. A little bit later on in the program, our senior preview correspondent, William Byron, will be along to talk about Atlanta Motor Speedway as the Cup Series heads there. Our friends at the Performance Racing Network have that one. It's all ahead on this week's edition of MRN Out Loud. Stay with us.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Ben Rhodes is with us. He drives the number 99 Toyota Tundras with Bombardier on the side for Thor Sport Racing, headed to Knoxville this weekend. And Ben, a great season rolling along, although now you're getting gaps in it as we head toward the playoffs, and I know that's got to make you eager to get back at it, but 2 wins, 5 top 5s, 10 top 10s, number 2 in the standings, and headed back to dirt where you once told me you feel like Bambi on ice. Do you still feel that way?
Maybe. We'll see how the truck's driving, and I'll give you a better answer here. Here's the thing. Thor Sport as a whole usually has really fast trucks on the dirt. But we've been up and down in the past, but somebody from Thor Sport is usually fast. And at Bristol earlier this year, that was us. So I'm hoping maybe that momentum will follow us to Knoxville. Bristol kind of drove like an asphalt race. So I didn't really feel like Bambi there. I actually enjoyed the Bristol at dirt more than I enjoyed the concrete because it drove more like to me, it just drove like a slicked off asphalt track. You drive in straight, you come off straight, you did what you could to take care of the tires. So maybe some tire wear will be a factor at Knoxville. If it does, I think that'd be pretty awesome. Eldora, that was never a factor, and it just kind of took away that extra, that extra piece he had to play with. And I think that all, makes it more fun. The more you have to watch out for, the more fun it gets.
Absolutely. And you had a really good Bristol runner up there on the dirt, and we'll be headed back there in the playoffs, but it'll be on a concrete track then, the normal surface. But before we get to that point, let's talk a little bit about this whole situation. And we've seen a lot of road courses lately. And, back in the day, we used to hear about road course ringers. Oh, here come the ringers. And now you hear a little bit more of it on dirt. I mean, Donnie Schatz is going to be at Knoxville, for example. I mean, my goodness, is there, and this is the opinion part of the program for you. So is it better to be the guy who knows about dirt tracks and not so much about trucks, or the guy who's a good truck racer and doesn't know so much about dirt racing?
I would say the good truck racer and doesn't know much about dirt racing. And I say that because look at Bristol. I mean, the dirt ringers never even made it to the front. It was me and Martin Truex, who both are definitely not dirt racers, but we'll straight up tell you.
For goodness sakes, of all people.
Yeah, I mean, he said it going into the race weekend. I don't know what I'm doing. And he wins the race, and not by like a little bit, but like a lot over me. And then we had a pretty decent gap back to third, which had another gap. So like we had speed. He had speed, and we aren't dirt guys by any means. The dirt guys actually they were, if I remember, they were wrecked out or, laps down or something happened. But it definitely wasn't because of, just killer speed that they had. They didn't have the pace and got around some of the bad folks and ended up getting in a wreck, and that's what happens when you get back there in the hornet's nest. We just do not want to be back there in the hornet's nest. That just makes for a bad day.
Yeah, and you get stung, and then you have to go and lay down and take a Benadryl and all that stuff. It's not good. Let's talk a little bit about the surface, because you guys, asphalt racers, talk about racing on asphalt, concrete, worn-out tracks versus new tracks, and the dirt guys talk almost the same way about the kind of tracks that they have. I mean, when you hear the guys who prepare these tracks talk, it's almost like a cake recipe they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Dirt cake recipe. I'm learning more and more of their lingo every time I do this. I feel like I've got to decent understanding. I get my thesaurus and my dictionary out, and then I'm crossing words, and I'm trying to figure out how this applies to my asphalt career. But the more and more I do it, the better we've gotten. And I'll tell you, if I'm just doing this once a year, it's hard to get like really good at the dirt stuff. But if I'm doing it, 2 times a year, like we're doing now, I think it allows that knowledge that you're soaking up to kind of stick a little bit more and kind of build a base. Once a year at Eldora, I was like, this is really foreign. Okay, I'm starting to get good. And we wait a year. Oh, this is really foreign again. I got to build, you got to build back up every year. And now with twice, I feel like I just came off the dirt. I should have a good understanding. And I'll tell you, some of the biggest help I've got comes from our shop with Tracy Hines, our competition director. He's been a really good coach for me.
Wow, that's a good resource to have for sure. Coming down the stretch here now, I can't believe I'm saying this, 2 races left until the playoffs begin, Knoxville, and then you go to Watkins Glen to finish out the regular season. What do you think about the way things have gone for you so far? You started off red hot winning the first 2, but you stayed right there consistently in the mix all the way through. But now John Hunter Nemechek has gotten as hot as you were early.
Yeah, I think we came out hot, and then we've cooled off a little bit here in these summer months. The past couple of races haven't been very good for us. We've had different issues. So, we've got to start heating back up. I think these 2 races are the ones to do it, though. Knoxville and Watkins Glen. I mean, those were some of our best finishes all year. We're on a dirt. We finished second, and obviously the road course we got to win. So I'm hoping these will be the races that get us back on track. I'm not concerned with, some people, they think that it's a 911 emergency because they finished outside the top 10 twice, right? Like, I'm trying to look at it as a big picture. That's going to happen. I don't want it to happen, but yeah, it'll happen. You'll have that sometimes. But the big thing is to keep everybody calm and just keep working. I mean, it's going to sort itself out, and the playoffs are going to be here. Let's get our second place points. I don't know that we can catch John Hunter now, but being 100 points back or so, let's just stay with the second, because we can't count on him going out and having a bunch of bad races or a couple really bad races and losing that many points so quickly. So we'll just we'll focus on ourselves, try to wrap up this second place, get our bonus points. And we really like to get a couple more wins to pad our playoff picture, because the only thing I'm concerned about is the Final Four. And then you make it to the Final Four, and we all know anything can happen.
Yeah, it sure can, and often does. When you get to the playoffs, you start off with Gateway, then you go to Darlington where you were runner-up, and then a completely different Bristol. What do you think about that first round? A good mix of styles there.
Yeah, a good mix for sure. A couple short tracks, and Darlington is just so unique too. I wouldn't put it into a standard, 1.5-mile racetrack. If I remember correctly, this Darlington we just had, it was kind of smooth, not a lot of wrecks, and then very end, just bam, wreck after wreck after wreck. So I think it's important for us to, keep our tires clean. We were leading at Darlington and had tires go down. We've had really good speed there, so I feel great about that racetrack. Gateway, we're working on some stuff as we speak, and then I'll tell you, Bristol, I don't know what to expect. I've had speed there in the past, and then other years we've just couldn't get out of our own way. So I've got confidence in Rich, though. I mean, I've been partnered with Rich now this year, and Rich Lucius, my crew chief, for whatever reason, like he'll just find speed at places historically I've not been that good at. So I've got faith in him. Hopefully he'll kind of revive my Bristol, record.
Let's wrap up with this. I saw some social media earlier when you got to do the seat swap with the NHRA, and it looked like you had a blast. I mean, there's nothing like when they say, gentlemen, start your engines, and they fire the trucks or the cars up, but the NHRA is a completely different world. Tell me about that experience and what you took away from it, because, man, you can feel those things. They'll rattle the fillings out of your head. Yeah,
I felt it right here in my chest. I loved it. All I wanted was a helmet and just for them to lower me off the jack stands, and then I was going to be good. I was just going to take off down the road. I was loving every second of it, right? Like if I could have just taken me off the jack stands and put me up to the tree, I would have been throttled down. I loved it. NHRA is always something I've had an interest in, and it's always been a bucket list item, like to go to the race, to, do a warm up, to like just be involved, right? Like it's not apples to apples. It's not even really like apples to oranges. It's just a different side of the sport. And, the older I get, the more I appreciate all aspects of racing.
Yeah, it's really something to behold. The skills in one don't necessarily translate to another, but you can appreciate the talent it takes to do what they do, just like with you guys. And it's fantastic to watch. Well, Ben, congratulations on a strong season. Good luck this weekend at Knoxville on the dirt, and the playoffs right around the corner. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Sir, are you aware you were going 40 miles an hour? This is a residential area.
Sure, but I'm on my lawnmower? Wait, am I getting a ticket?
No, I've just never seen anyone top 9 miles an hour on one of those bad boys. And mow their entire lawn in 30 seconds? What got into you?
Well, it did fuel up at Sunoco this morning.
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Atlanta, 8th last time you were there. Very rough track. It chews up your tires like a cheese grater, and that's something you have to be mindful of the whole time, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Atlanta's typically really loose. You've got really limited rear grip, but also some front grip issues too. So you got to manage it all. But the thing around there is just trying to wrap that white line and be good down low. So hopefully for us, we've got that grip in the back of the car this time, and feel really good about going back to a track for the first time with Rudy and being able to work on stuff that we wanted to work on. And so far, the stuff we've done at the simulator for Atlanta feels really, really good. So excited for Atlanta, and I think we'll be able to do better than 8th.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
That wraps up this week's edition of MRN Out Loud as we get set for the Corn Belt 150 by Premier Chevy Dealers. That comes your way 7 o'clock Eastern Time on the Motor Racing Network, the Camping World Truck Series, back on the dirt for the second time this season. We want to thank Ben Rhodes for being with us and William Byron as well as he previewed the race coming up at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Until we see you next week, I'm Woody Cain saying thanks for joining us on MRN Out Loud.